Hi Fox, have a lovely day. Well, this is our fourth video, and you probably already know that I'm Simon of Mirora Translations. I'm not a famous guy, yet, and fame is a funny thing. Some deserve it with a lot of wonderful things they've achieved, and some with a lot of crap that they've been a part of. When a name comes up, it could be someone very well known to some, or it could be a name that you've heard of for the first time. One of the most famous human beings, however, is probably German scientist Albert Einstein. And we see and hear a lot of his quotes almost every day, but here's my favorite. I didn't say half of the crap that they say I did. Well, I'm not sure if this is one of the things he actually said, but I'd certainly expect him to say something smarter, because this simply means that he said the other half of the crap that they say he did. Well, let's cut the crap and tell you what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about a hot topic today. Monroe? No. I'm going to talk about artificial intelligence, or AI. It'll definitely transform our lives, and our lives will be much more connected than we would probably prefer or even like. These two letters intrigue us, and they trigger some questions in our brains. What will happen now? Will robots take our jobs? Are many professions dying? Who will be the star of the next era, and who will fall victim to it? Does anybody really know what we should do not to be one of the victims? I don't really think so. These questions are genuine. They're imminent. They're scary. They're even scarier for my generation because of the speed of change in the last few decades. I can understand the basic phenomena of physics like air, water, earth, light, or rain. The sun heats the water, it turns into vapor, it rises, travels thousands of miles until it meets a cold front, and then it turns back into water and falls on us. Or even force. If you can push a shovel with enough force into the soil, you can dig it up and plant whatever you like. I was kind of sure I understood weight as well, until scientists told us that weight is a relative consequence of gravity. I'm 220 pounds on Earth, and I'll weigh only 37 on the moon. So it's still a great mystery to many of us why on earth the Earth pulls us so hard and makes us feel like we're fat. When you see him next time, please tell him not to do that. We are familiar with a lot of things, but sometimes we find them too difficult to explain. Imagine that you end up on a deserted island, inhabited by some primates that can talk, but live in prehistoric ages. Well, I can see that you can teach them how the thing that you call wheel can be attached to a cart to make it easier to move things from one place to the other. But can you really explain to them how it rains? Can you teach them electricity? Can you help them build their own TV? Well, if you can, you should at least teach them not to watch more than 2 hours a day, which is not good for their health. When my family bought our first TV set, I was 13, and it took me years to convince myself that moving encrypted images and voice could travel in waves and then reach our homes to be decrypted by the machines we called television. And then computers came. And I had to struggle with the idea that machines can actually perform some magic tricks by working with zeros and ones only. Was that enough? Of course it wasn't. Some nerds decided to connect each and every computer on Earth and call it the Internet, which certainly deserves a whole new video I hope I'll make sometime in the future. We'd had pages for a couple of years before we heard the word mobile or cellular phone, which has become smarter and turned into an inseparable part of our modern lives. Self-driving cars are already a reality. Well, I'm not really sure if I should be terribly sorry or joyfully happy for our teenage boys who will have to find some other machines to dream about. As if we were not confused or baffled enough, scientists then started to talk about artificial intelligence, or AI. AI this, AI that. Many AI applications are already in place for detecting and deterring cyber attacks or security intrusions, resolving users' technology problems, or reducing production management work by automation. Well, our industry is no exception when two translators chat about AI applications. MT, which is machine translation, is probably what comes to mind first. Although some recent research says that 77% of translators never or rarely use CAT tools and only 10% use it regularly, change is inevitable. We will probably stop being translators and we will all be post-editors instead. What makes us superior to other species is our ability to communicate, to exchange feelings, demands, views, ideas with each other. Shortly, we talk. And now IBM says its Watson can actually hear, process, and talk like a human being. When I first heard IBM call its new gadget Watson, wow, I said to myself, there must be a huge fan of Arthur Conan Doyle at IBM. But why Watson? Why not Sherlock? Then I found out that they actually named it after their first CEO, the industrialist Thomas John Watson, as a tribute to him. Todd Holmdahl, the head of Microsoft's quantum team, recently announced that their quantum computer will be ready in 5 years. Now let's listen to what quantum is.
Ο όρος κβάντο ή κβάντουμ μετέ σε διακριτή ποσότητα ενέργειας, ανάλογη σε μέγεθος με τη συχνότητα της ακτινοβολίας που αντιπροσωπεύει. Ο όρος κβαντική φυσική χρησιμοποιείται γενικά για να περιγράψει τους κανόνες της φυσικής, οι οποίοι ορίζουν ή σχετίζονται με τα σωματίδια του ατόμου.
You know what? It's all Greek to me. Well, let's see what the Oxford Dictionary says about quantum. OneLook.com, Oxford Dictionary, quantum. Quantum is a discrete quantity of energy proportional in magnitude to the frequency of the radiation it represents. The term quantum physics is generally used to explain the rules of physics that define or relate to atomic particles. What? It's still Greek to you? Well, to me, it simply means we have stopped looking at the space or the big picture to find answers to big questions like who we are, where we are, why we are who we are, and then started looking at small things, things that we could only see with the help of a microscope to find some answers to these questions. Let's just step aside and let scientists keep on working on all the technical, scientific aspects of this AI business. They will eventually have all the answers they need, and we will start doing many things better, faster, and with more accuracy. Because there are some other equally important questions, issues that we must address. Frankly, I'm nowhere near giving you all the answers, solutions, or shortcuts. All I'm going to do is ask questions. Questions like, do you want your AI to steal his father's assault rifle and go to the nearest school to destroy the main computer or the laptops our kids are using just because they have a different processor? Have you ever thought about whether we should equip our AI with a conscience? Should they be able to develop intuitions, desires, emotions, drives, or impulses? Or are the impulses the main reason why we have failed for the last 2 millenniums? Oh yes, we have. Look at all the hatred we generate for those who are not of the same sex, same color, same ethnic identity, or same religion as we are. Isn't the death of hundreds of thousands of innocent children and women in the war zones across the globe another clear indication that we have failed? Isn't it obvious that if we raise our AI as we have raised our children in the last 2 millenniums, we will have a big, big problem? And the most important of all, are we really ready to be the next endangered species in, say, 50 years? Are you sure that we have thought about this very, very thoroughly? Here's what I recommend. Our industry is certainly one of the leading industries eagerly implementing all the new scientific or technological advancements. So how about we have a session to discuss these questions at every event organized by our associations? By the way, why wait for the events of ALIA, Gala, Lockworld, ATC, or ATA? Why shouldn't you share your thoughts with me now? Go ahead, guys and girls, grab your mouse, pick up your phone, and this time, not to ask me to help you translate your documents into Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, Vietnamese, or all, but to let me know what you think. Well, this is all from me for today, and I wish you all have wonderful, worry-free days until we meet again. If you like this video, please don't forget to click that subscribe button. Hasta la vista, folks.